Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Young and the Restless spoilers from March 17th through the 21st are smoking hot. We are going to talk about Nick Newman Joshua Morrow being tempted by Sharon Newman Sharon Case, and Summer Newman Allison Lanier being very afraid that Phyllis Summers Michelle Stafford is still in danger. As we end this week, the week we are in now that ends on March 14th, we have the fantastic news that Sharon and Phyllis are finally free. Nick, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Chancellor Connor Floyd rode to their rescue. And the dynamic also between Phyllis and Sharon has dramatically shifted. The two ladies worked together to find the camera so they could dismantle it, and the kidnapper couldn't see them. Then Sharon and Phyllis had a great time trashing the room and taunting their captor. But it's too bad because it set off some alarms, some auto reactions that psycho-fake Alan Lauren Christopher Cousins had set up. And he, of course, is now confirmed as their kidnapper. Fake Alan had things set up to punish Sharon and Phyllis, and he had one last trick, filling the room with toxic gas that was waiting for them. As they started choking and Phyllis collapsed, just in time, Billy, Nick, and the cops rushed in and saved them. Next week, we are going to see how Sharon and Phyllis are doing now that they are both home safely. Spoilers for next week for Nick and Sharon on Young and the Restless are about Nick being tempted to consider a possible reunion with Sharon. We're going to see Nick in deep conversation with Sharon at Crimson Lights. She's looking pretty good, none the worse for we're after her ordeal at the hands of that psycho. And Sharon tells Nick she wants him to be honest with her about his feelings. Then Sharon asks Nick if he ever thinks about them getting back together. And we know from Sharon's Valentine's Day daydream that she is definitely hoping to be reunited with Nick. This horrible thing that Sharon has gone through might have Nick ready to just go ahead and take that leap. They may finally reunite, seeing as Young and the Restless finally reunited Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, and Adam Newman Mark Grossman, who were also on a painfully slow path to reconciliation. Hopefully, Sharon and Nick will both admit they have feelings for each other and begin a new romantic chapter. And if they don't, it's going to be a huge letdown for Chic fans because of the slow buildup between Nick and Sharon that's been going on literally for more than a year. Also next week on Young and the Restless, Damian Kane Jermaine Rivers shows up at his brother Nate Hastings' John Dominic apartment asking about his mom, Amy Lewis Valerie Pettiford. If you remember, recently Nate set up an appointment for Amy with a friend of his who's an oncologist in Chicago. And they came down to see her and then took her away to Chicago to get tests done. So Nate's hoping to find a way to treat Amy's leukemia. You know, he's hoping for a cure or at least a way to prolong her life and give her a better quality of life. Next week, Damian asks Nate if it's true that Amy has been admitted to a hospital in Chicago. And I'm sure it is. Otherwise, Damian wouldn't have heard that news. This might actually be a good thing and not bad news. It could mean that Amy got into a clinical trial or is getting some sort of experimental treatment from Nate's doctor friend. On the other hand, it could be terrible news because Amy's leukemia might have taken a turn for the worse, and she's in the hospital getting end-of-life treatment. Hopefully, it's not that though. But either way, good or bad, Damian will likely end up going to Lily Winter's Crystal Calloway to talk it through. They're getting a lot closer, which makes sense because Damian is said to be Lily's next love interest, and heaven knows she needs one. Whether Amy's getting a miracle cure or has run out of time, it should see Damian and Nate bonding as brothers at last. Also, Summer and Phyllis sit down to discuss the aftermath of her kidnapping, and a shocked Summer is horrified when they talk. And Phyllis says the kidnapper wanted her and Sharon to be found. Not so much horrified about that part, but because there's still an element of risk. Phyllis tells Summer whoever did this is a total whack job. And what's really got her daughter upset and worried about Phyllis is because the kidnapper has not been caught. So next week, spoilers have Summer very worried and saying that Phyllis is still in danger. The thing is, Summer seems to be more concerned about it than Phyllis. Phyllis doesn't seem too fazed about it. But on the bright side, Sharon and Phyllis finally seem to have put their issues aside. So that is a huge silver lining to this double kidnapping. If it was Alan's or Martin's experiment to see if they could put their feud behind them, well, it actually worked. Of course, he might have just been toying with them for fun because he's a twisted sociopath. Also, there may be a new chapter ahead for Phyllis, just as this ordeal might have been a wake-up call for Sharon and Nick. The same may be true of Phyllis and Billy. They may find themselves rekindling their old flame despite Sally Spectre Courtney Hope being in his life. Also, Summer may run to Kyle Abbott Michael Mueller to use her ongoing fear about Phyllis as a way to keep getting close to him, and trying to drive Claire Grace Newman Haley Aaron away. The last spoiler we have for next week is a huge one. It's about Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, and fake Alan. On Friday, Tracy heard her fiance's phone blowing up with alerts, and she grabbed it. And she saw a message on Alan's phone saying security has been breached and something about measures being taken. Just then, he comes out of the bathroom, and he sees Tracy with his phone in her hand, and his whole demeanor changes. He suddenly looks super sketchy, and then not Alan asks her what she's doing. The spoiler promo little video clip made it look like Tracy was suspicious and that Alan might threaten her in some way that puts her in danger. It definitely looks like Young and the Restless wants us to think Tracy busts Alan next week as a villain, kidnapper, and imposter, and then her life is at risk. That's the way the promo looks to me, but I doubt it's going to go that way. Y&R never resolves things easily or quickly. What's more likely is that Tracy is fed lies. And more gaslighting by fake Alan. He may say that the security alert was his place in Paris or his office there, because all Tracy saw was a message about a security breach, and it could literally be for any location anywhere. So I fully suspect Alan is going to be able to brush off Tracy's questions because she has no reason to suspect that it's anything else. There is no way that she would see an alert on Alan's phone about a security breach and think, oh, that must be about the kidnapping, or raise any suspicions that he's really Martin, the evil twin, which definitely seems to be where Young and the Restless is going with this. So I think this is just clever editing, and it's all swept aside, and we've got a couple more weeks of what's happening with them before fake Alan is completely exposed. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.